Welcome to MTN Outdoors.
Hi there, welcome back to MTN Outdoors. I'm Tom Buchanan and I'll be your guide on this week's episode. We'll hear from advocates opposing mining near the Smith River and see where we're at for the opening of some seasonal roads. Right now is a great time to get back out on some trails, but we should always be vigilant and keep an eye out for ourselves and our pets, as a Bozeman woman tragically learned. MTN's Jolie Sally reports.
On May 15th, a regular trail run for a local woman quickly turned into a nightmare when her dog was attacked and dragged away by a mountain lion 5 miles from the trailhead on Mount Baldy.
It did make us think about being out and about on trails with our dogs.
Dave and Wendy Pierce have been hiking in the Bozeman area together for over 30 years.
Since 1993.
All seasons. We hike in the winter, we hike in the summer, spring, fall.
They told me they've never seen a mountain lion while hitting the trails with their furry friends.
But always thinking about them.
And after hearing about another woman's encounter on the 15th, they've been extra mindful while out in the wilderness.
Well, it was super sad. We love dogs and we love hiking.
What was supposed to be a relaxing day on the trail turned devastating for 24-year-old Cecilia McAfee when her dog Indy suddenly began yelping. Caught off guard, Cecilia ran towards the noise where she saw the mountain lion running down a hill, dragging Indy away. In the aftermath, Cecilia began searching for Indy and calling out to her, hoping the mountain lion may have given up the fight. But unfortunately, she was never found. Once returning to her vehicle, McAfee reported the incident to Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. FWP Information and Education Manager Morgan Jacobson says these types of encounters are fairly rare.
That being said, we are in mountain lion country. Mountain lions are predators. They do make their living by stalking and capturing prey.
That's why Jacobson says folks should take precautions and be prepared for these types of encounters by traveling in groups, making noise, carrying and knowing how to use bear spray, and keeping your dog close to you or on a leash at all times.
So just be smart.
Yeah, be listening, looking for sign.
Dave and Wendy say that hearing about McAfee's encounter does make them want to be mindful on the trail, but
Not wary, not
reluctant. Doesn't stop us from hiking.
Yeah.
In Bozeman, Jolie Sally, MTN News.
On Tuesday morning, a group gathered here outside the Helena Lewis and Clark National Forest offices to deliver a message about their concerns about possible mining activity in the Smith River area. The Smith River Public Lands Coalition delivered what it called a boatload of signatures, around 10,000, on a petition calling for the Forest Service to put a mineral withdrawal on public lands near the proposed Black Butte copper mining project in Marr County.
People are always asking us, what can we do to help protect the Smith River from future mining? And that's why we offered this petition to those people, and we are going to let the decision makers know what they think by delivering them.
A mineral withdrawal would stop new mine leases on Forest Service lands. It would not affect the Black Butte mine, which is on private land. But advocates said they're concerned mining could expand because the operators have filed claims on adjacent public lands.
I don't think there's a really good scenario where you could mine in the Smith River watershed, particularly along and underneath its most important trout spawning tributary, and not end up polluting the Smith River.
In a statement, a senior vice president for the company behind the Black Butte project said they're committed to fully protecting environmental and cultural resources. They said, quote, "Tintina, Montana is focused on moving forward with the future underground mine construction of the permitted Johnny Lee copper deposit located on private property. Any projects considered in the future will be held to the same high company standard of doing it right from the beginning." The Montana Supreme Court hasn't yet made a decision in a case dealing with the water permit for the Black Butte mine. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Snow is melting, rivers are rising. An exciting and beautiful thing to see. It's also a dangerous time. That water was snow just a few miles upstream. And there can be debris in there as well. That means it's definitely a place you don't want to be.
Rivers are such a dangerous situation right now. When you combine the CFS, the flows, and you throw a few logs in that with the cold water temperatures, it's just a whole lot of things can go wrong really fast.
If you choose to go out on the water this time of year, make sure everyone on board is prepared for safety.
Make sure that you got PFDs for everyone on board. Make sure that children under 12 are wearing them, most importantly. And then also to have those other tools with you, like throw ropes or throwable PFDs, that if someone's in the water in distress, you can get to them in a hurry and get them the help that they need.
When it comes to high water, it's this simple. Those rescue tools and knowing how to use them are often the difference between life and death.
Time is everything in something like this, and the things that are done right when the situation occurs is what's going to make the difference. Most of the time, by the time search and rescue or us get there, sadly, it's often too late. And so we'll do the best that we can to get there the quickest and safest. But having a plan, having those tools to rescue somebody if they are in the water in distress can make all the difference and save the day.
Sergeant Wemple discourages taking young children near the river this time of year, but he says if you do, make sure you have a personal flotation device. And if they're very young, he encourages you to make them wear it all the time. It could save a life. On a rising Gallatin River, Chet Lehman, MTN News.
With summer heat heading our way, it's time to get out on the water. A new company here in Great Falls has a really innovative way for you to do that affordably, whether you live here or you're just visiting.
The benefit is purely folks getting out and enjoying them to the city.
Honestly, this is an investment into the community more than anything, right? We saw the need, we saw the want for it, and we were in the position where we could step up and invest in something like this to make it happen, right?
Comments have always been made to, have something like this on the river so people can enjoy the river more.
While kayak can be an extremely safe sport, safety is still on the mind of both the city and the company running the kiosk.
You know, it is kayak at your own risk, right? I mean, you can get injured walking across the street just as easy as you can going out on the river for a nice leisurely kayak ride.
The kiosk comes at no cost to the city, with Treasure State Outdoor fronting the entire initial investment. Eventually, however, the city will make money through a profit split.
A split between Jason's company and the city, and so there's really no, nothing the city's on the hook for.
So how does this thing work anyways?
It works very similar to the Bird scooters here in town. It's all phone based, right? So you take your phone, either scan the QR code or download the Rent Fun app. And once you do so, it basically walks you through the steps, simple as that. And as soon as you're done, you've signed the waiver, you got your credit card information there, door pops open, and you take the kayak out and take it as long or as little as you want and return it when you're done. The biggest goal we had is keeping it affordable, right? So the first 2 hours are $25, and then any additional minute after that is 30 cents. So ultimately with Treasure State Outdoors, our whole goal is to bring recreation to here to Great Falls and Montana. And any way we can possibly do that, that's what our main goal is.
This is exciting for us as a Parks and Rec department. And again, it's all because Jason was willing to work with us on this and be a great partner in this, so folks can actually enjoy the river here locally in town. And again, we hope it takes off and we see more kiosks like this.
In Great Falls, I'm James Rowland, MTN News.
Coming up after the break, we learn more about a recent decision from the Land Board regarding water rights. But first, it's time for some trivia. Do you know what is the highest elevation highway in Montana? Find out the answer after the break.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Welcome back. So, do you know what is the highest elevation highway in Montana? Following the same route taken by Civil War General Philip Sheridan and his men returning from an inspection tour of Yellowstone National Park, the Beartooth Highway stands at 10,947 feet, which is 4,300 feet higher than the top of Going to the Sun Road in Glacier. While the goal is to open Beartooth Highway by Memorial Day weekend, Mother Nature often has different plans, as meteorologist Joey Bianconi reports.
Montana offers some of the most scenic drives in the country. The Beartooth Highway is no exception. The gateway to northeast Yellowstone takes drivers on a jaw-dropping 69-mile journey through the Beartooth Mountains. In some spots, elevations of the roadway can exceed 10,000 feet, or twice the elevation of Denver, Colorado. This makes for incredible views, but also opens the door for extreme weather conditions to limit access to the highway. The usual opening for the Beartooth Highway is the Friday before Memorial Day. However, this year's plans changed when a major spring storm rolled through the region, dumping feet of snow in some areas. This is not unusual for the highway to the sky, as due to extreme altitude, the average temperature for this time of year along portions of the roadway is only 42 degrees. Snow remains possible in this area well into the summer months, causing occasional closures. But the Beartooth Highway is not the only seasonal road with extreme weather. The alpine portion of Going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park usually opens in late June and closes in early October. But we've seen it open as early as May 25th and as late as July 13th. During the early spring months, Logan Pass can average more than 5 feet of snow. National forests across the state also have hundreds of primitive roads that operate on a seasonal schedule due to extreme weather conditions. Make sure you do your research and check up on road conditions before you travel. Taking the high road definitely isn't easy when competing with Montana's harsh climate. And now you're a little more weather-wise.
The Beartooth Pass was scheduled to open Friday, but as you can see, it's a winter wonderland up here, and so now that date has been pushed back.
It's crazy, but it's pretty typical.
As shocking as this weather might seem, for Red Lodge residents, it's just another spring day in the Beartooths.
It's Montana. Springtime in Montana.
But this storm hit less than 24 hours before the expected opening of the Beartooth Pass, which has now been delayed.
Well, you're hoping that a lot of people will come in, but now with the pass not opening, people won't maybe be driving here.
Hometown Sisters manager Rosemary Stewart says that while the delay isn't ideal, it's Montana weather just proving to be unpredictable once again.
It's almost always on Memorial Day we have something like this.
It's semi-normal for Red Lodge for Memorial Day weekend, and it's what we have.
Next door at the Blue Ribbon Bar, business owner Rocky Roberts says even though crazy weather is the norm in Red Lodge, Thursday was on a different level.
Yeah, this is more than I thought it would be for sure. We got another 4 or 5 hours, so we'll see. But as long as everybody drives safe and stays smart, we'll be in good shape.
The question now is how long the opening of the Beartooth Highway could be delayed.
Well, Beartooth Pass is definitely going to have complications because of this.
Q2's chief meteorologist Ed McIntosh predicts it could be short-lived with better weather on the way.
So knowing that the way the Montana Department of Transportation handles the clearing in the passes, I think we're going to see that open very soon after the storm is over.
Music to the ears of businesses in Red Lodge who've been heavily affected by unpredictable weather the last few years.
The last couple of years have been pretty tough, but we keep persevering and doing what we do.
A town persevering through tough times and always ready to adapt.
It's the most resilient, versatile town. It really is. It's incredible for that.
In Red Lodge, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
The Montana Land Board, which includes the governor and 4 other of the state's top executive officials, is responsible for directing the management of state trust lands, state-owned lands that are leased out to create revenue for schools and other public institutions. On Monday, the board held a discussion about what happens when farmers and ranchers use their water rights on those trust lands. In some cases, agricultural users direct water to trust lands for irrigating crops or watering livestock. During the meeting, a number of users expressed concern that the state could claim partial ownership over water rights they put to use on those lands.
We can have all the grass in the world. If we don't have water, we have nothing, absolutely nothing. And this state section that I'm referring to has 0 water on it until I pipe that over there.
If we're going to pump water out there, we're going to lose it. Why do we want to invest in that infrastructure? We need some assurances somehow that that is a temporary situation.
Lieutenant Governor Kristen Juris gave a presentation Monday on how the administration is handling these situations. She said the state can claim partial ownership in a water right if it was intended for use on trust land when it was originally claimed. If a rancher or farmer has a water right entirely for private land, there is a process to temporarily redirect it to trust land for the duration of the lease.
Now, their water right's going to look different. If they solely develop it on private land, it might be a smaller water right than if they had included the state trust land as part of their place of use. So they're going to have to make a decision. Maybe it's beneficial for them to include the state trust, and maybe it's not.
Last month, the Montana Supreme Court issued a ruling confirming the state's claim to a portion of a water right that farmers in Gallatin County had used on trust land. During Monday's meeting, the Land Board unanimously backed a proposal by Attorney General Austin Knudsen to require Montana DNRC to come to the board for approval when asserting state interest in these water rights.
We as the Land Board, we as the Board of Land Commissioners, we're the client here. This is ultimately our decision. It's our name on the caption.
The Land Board also directed staff to give them a full review of the current cases they're involved in on this subject at next month's meeting. In the Helena Valley, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Coming up after the break, Montana's Governor's Cup is celebrating 50 years, and more Montana teens are picking up rugby.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Welcome back. Rugby is becoming an increasingly popular sport here in Montana, with twice the number of teens in the state participating compared to last year. MTN's Ryan Berg has more on how people are finding community and family through the close contact sport.
Since its inception, hundreds of thousands of runners have participated in the Governor's Cup. Those running this year will be celebrating a special anniversary. Presented annually by Blue Cross Blue Shield, the Governor's Cup will celebrate 50 years on Saturday, June 8th.
As the name would suggest, the Governor's Cup was founded by, at that time, Governor Thomas Judge. His fitness on health, wellness, and lifetime sports developed this run to encourage fitness and physical activity across Montana.
The first Governor's Cup was held in Bozeman on Memorial Day in 1974 with under 100 runners participating. The following year, the event was held in Missoula, and in 1975, the race came to Helena, where it would remain. Blue Cross took over managing the race in 1979.
We're very proud to present the race. It really represents everything we believe in as far as physical fitness, mental wellness, active communities, active families, and just making communities healthier as a whole.
The Governor's Cup includes a number of races for all ability levels, from the marathon to the fun run. For the 50th anniversary, there are already more than 2,300 runners signed up, with more than 130 marathon runners. Numbers organizers expect will continue to grow leading up to race day. Haynes says one of his favorite parts of the Governor's Cup is how it is truly a family event, with generations participating.
I've seen some kids who've started with our kids marathon program running laps around their school playground to running 5Ks, or then they're getting their families together running a 5K or a 10K. It's just seeing names, because I obviously see whoever signs up, so seeing names year after year, or like families grow year after year, it's just really neat experience.
The Governor's Cup would not be possible without the volunteers. Organizers say it takes around 300 volunteers to make the annual event a reality. Organizers say there's still a great need for volunteers this year. And just like the races themselves, there's volunteer positions for all abilities. You can find out more by going to their website. In Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Montana high school rugby teams from all across the state are gathering here in Helena for the 2024 state tournament. Organizers say that this will be the biggest one yet, as they welcome more participants than ever before. On Saturday, members and businesses from across Montana flooded Centennial Field for the tournament. While the sport of rugby has lived in Montana for decades, the community of youth rugby continues to grow in the state. J.D. Stevenson, Chief Executive Officer of the Montana Institute of Sport, said that just from last year they have doubled in numbers, and says that this is just the beginning.
We're up to a total of 7 programs, across the state, with Butte coming online to make 8 next year. It makes for a really exciting time for Montana youth rugby.
The Montana Institute of Sport is a nonprofit youth sport development organization that looks to grow the sport of rugby K through 12 for both boys and girls across the state.
The level of rugby is continuing to get higher and the standards higher. We're trying to develop a well-rounded athlete that is prepared and ready to play any sport and take on any challenge that life throws at them.
Rugby is a sport that, to the blind eye, people will say it's unique because of people getting hoisted up into the air or the scrums they get into for the ball. But out of all of that, many say the most unique thing about the sport is their community.
Rugby is a sport that's more of a family than any other sport we've ever been involved with. A lot of the families get together, work together, play together. It's like one big family.
It is one of the many reasons why Miss Helena Teen USA Paige Springer joined the Helena Girls U19 team.
You look so tough and rough out like on the pitch and everything, but then off of the pitch, your family with not just your own team, but the other teams as well.
The evening of games eventually ended with the Bitterroot Girls U19 and the Missoula Boys U19 teams hoisting up their trophies for winning their tournaments. In Helena, Ryan Berg, MTN News.
The Adopt a Park program allows people in the community to get involved with their local parks.
Well, the Adopt a Park program has been in place for many years. Since I came on and our new deputy director, Jessica Compton, came on, we've kind of revamped the system and we're trying to introduce it to the community in a new way.
Arthur Taft has been a part of the Adopt a Park program for about a year now and said it allows community members like him to play a major role in protecting the public parks.
And that's really important for citizens to understand that this is our public park. This belongs to you and I. And why not take an interest in what's going on with our parks, like keeping up with the litter, like making sure that the Parks Department knows that they have a water line break, or if the playground equipment is broken, and bring attention to that.
Currently, only 5 parks have an active volunteer group with the program, but the Park and Recreation Department are seeking more volunteers to help keep all parks in Great Falls clean and safe.
We have 57 developed parks among other areas that we take care of. We would be happy to have a group for every single park, and some parks are bigger than others, so the need is greater. So we're looking to have as many folks that want to be involved at a level they can be involved as possible.
I come here, I enjoy this, I treat this as my own lawn, so get involved. That's what we're here today, to ask people. Just get involved in your parks. Just keep an eye out on things.
If you would like to have a hand in keeping the parks clean here in Great Falls, you can go to our website for more information on how to join the Adopt a Park program. In Great Falls, I'm McKenna Dickey, MTN News.